Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Vamos a la piscina. That means we're going to the movie theater, right? All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Alicia. Welcome back to Top Words. Today, we're going to be talking about must-know expressions for agreeing and disagreeing. Very useful. So let's go. Exactly. When you agree 100% with something someone else has said, you can say exactly. For example, ramen is one of the best foods in the world. Exactly. I don't agree. You have a different opinion from the other person. They tell you, I think that soccer is the best sport. You can say, I don't agree, but be prepared to provide your own opinion after this. I think soccer is the best sport. I don't agree. I think that football is. Oh, that could cause some problems. Soccer, football. Americans say football when we mean American football, but the rest of the world says football when they mean soccer. Maybe is when you don't know, when you can't make a decision or when you're not sure about something. Okay, so someone tosses you an opinion. Someone says their idea to you. I think it's gonna rain tomorrow. You can say, yeah, maybe. You don't know for sure, yes or no, but it's possible. It's a good sort of in-between expression. But if you use maybe all the time, it's gonna sound really strange and it's gonna sound like you can't make a decision. So use maybe very sparingly. Don't use it so often. Maybe is very commonly used as a soft no. It's up to you to figure that out among the people that you're talking to, though. Do you want to stay over at my house this weekend? Maybe. I couldn't agree with you more. You are in complete agreement with the other person and really want to communicate that to them. You think that what they have just said is really correct, super correct. Yes, you are completely on board with that idea. You can say, I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't, the negative form. I could not agree with you more, meaning it's not possible that I could agree more with what you're saying. Next week, it's really important that we have a barbecue because summer is ending. And then your friend can say, I couldn't agree more. That's a fantastic idea. I'll buy steak. I think we're going to have to agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. This is a kind of, it seems like a simple phrase, agree to disagree. So you're agreeing with the other person. You agree that we have a different opinion. Agree to disagree. I would use this expression at the end of a discussion. So person A and person B have different opinions, and they've been discussing those opinions for a long time. And person A is not changing his or her opinion. Person B is not changing his or her opinion. So you can say at the end of the conversation, okay, we have to agree to disagree. Let's just accept our different opinions and move on in the conversation. You have a point there. This is not necessarily an agreement or disagreement phrase. It's a small agreement within a larger discussion. So maybe you've been discussing a topic for a long time and you've disagreed with the other person until this time. This person says something and you agree with that. You have a point there. So there's one thing that this person has said that you can agree with. You can say, you have a point there. I think that's correct, or I agree with that point. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. Meaning, my feeling is the same as your feeling, or my opinion is the same as your opinion. That's exactly how I feel. Maybe you can use this if someone describes your feeling very accurately. For example, you can say, I feel like the company is really heading in a nice new direction. You can say, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I really like the new boss. I don't think so. It's soft. It's not so direct. It's not a hard, I disagree, but just, I don't think so. Of course, you can use it to discuss opinions, but you can also use it when you're making plans. Are you going to that party this weekend? I don't think so. It's not a disagreement, but it can be used as a negation phrase, a negative response to something. When used as an opinion, I think Chinese is the hardest language to learn. You can say, I don't think so. I think that Arabic is the hardest language to learn. Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right means you're correct. Yes, I agree with you. I think that's the right information. I think that's the correct opinion. Just a very clear agreement phrase. You're right. It also has the nuance of being correct. So maybe there was a possibility the other person could be incorrect. Did you know that pepperoni pizza is the most delicious pizza in the world? yes, you're right. So you could change it to that's right for that opinion. You can use your to talk specifically about the person itself, but that's right. Yes, that's right. That information is correct. I guess so. I guess so. It's an agreement, but it's sort of a flaky agreement. I guess so. It's like you don't really want to make a decision, but you don't feel strongly in one, like in agreement or disagreement. You can say, I guess so. It's usually said with this tone of voice, I guess so. You know, we don't really say, I guess so. Generally, it's like you can't quite make a decision or you don't want to make a decision. You can say, I guess so. Hey, we're gonna go for Chinese food for dinner tonight. Do you want to come? Yeah, I guess so. You don't feel strongly either way. I guess so. I'm afraid I disagree. It's a rather polite expression that you can use in a business situation, for example. I'm afraid here doesn't mean I'm actually scared or I'm really frightened, but just it's a softener that's used at the beginning of sentences to introduce a negative opinion. So I'm afraid I disagree, or I'm afraid I can't agree with you, for example. I think that you need to adopt a new policy for your company. I'm afraid I disagree. It's a soft disagreement that sounds a bit more formal than some of the other phrases we've talked about so far. Absolutely. Absolutely means 100%. Yes, exactly, precisely, definitely. It's a quick and clear and can be polite as well as casual word that means you agree with the other person. Hey, do you want to go to the beach this weekend? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, that's the end. So those are some phrases that you can use to agree and disagree with other people. There are a lot of them, and you can kind of mix and match them as you see fit. So give them a try. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Top Words, and we'll see you again soon. Bye. Playa's Beach. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia, and today we're going to be talking about the top 25 English phrases. So let's get started. The first phrase is hello. Hello, of course, is used as a greeting. You can greet your friends, you can greet your coworkers, your family with this phrase just by saying hello. Hey, hi, what's up? Hello. Sup? Yo. Pretty much any time of day you can use hello. Hello. The next phrase is good morning. Good morning is used as a greeting in the morning. You can kind of feel when morning ends for you. Good morning is nice and polite. Or even just morning with your close friends or close coworkers. The next phrase is good night. Good night is fine. We don't use this to greet other people. We use it when we're saying goodbye to other people at night. Family members, particularly mothers and fathers, to say good night to their children before they put them to bed. You can say it to your friend in a text message or in an email if you've been talking for a while. Good night. So the next word to talk about is goodbye. Use it when you say goodbye to your friends, when you leave your friends. Goodbye. Bye, of course. Take care. Have a nice day. Peace out. That's another way to say goodbye. Okay, the next phrase is I'm plus your name. Of course, this is a way to introduce yourself. You can use I'm, in my case, Alicia. I'm Alicia to introduce yourself in any situation. New friend, I'm Alicia. Okay, the next phrase is what's your name? What's your name is used to ask someone else what their name is. So, what is your name sounds a bit, try to use what's your name. If you forget someone's name, you can say sorry, what's your name? Or sorry, what's your name again? Next phrase is nice to meet you. Nice to meet you anytime you meet someone new. Nice to meet you is fine. Good to meet you is a little more casual. Great to meet you sounds very excited. Pleasure to meet you sounds like maybe a formal situation or a business context. Okay, the next phrase is how are you? How are you it's just a friendly way to check in with the other person. You can use it with friends, your family, your coworkers, maybe even your boss to a certain degree. How are ya? How you doing? The next phrase is I'm fine, thanks. And you? If you saw English in 3 minutes, we talked a lot about this phrase. Instead of I'm fine, thank you, and you, say I'm good, thanks. How are you? Just shorten it, make it a little bit more natural. How are you? Good. How are you? Great. How are you? Not so good. How are you? Okay. And so on. So when someone says, how are you? I usually say, I'm good. This week, I blah, blah, blah. Give some information about what you've been up to. Maybe a hobby, something that you did recently, an event, something interesting you saw, whatever. People want to make that connection with you, and it's a good chance for you to continue speaking. The next word is please. Please is a polite phrase used when you want something from someone else. You can use this as a response when someone offers you something, like in a restaurant, for example. Would you like more water? Would you like something to drink? Oh, please. The next phrase is thank you. Thank you is used to express your appreciation. You can use thank you with everybody. The next phrase is you're welcome. You're welcome. When someone says thank you, you can say you're welcome. No biggie. I use no biggie, as in no biggie is short for no big problem. The next word is yes. Yes, of course. Yes means is any positive expression. Someone asks you a question and the answer is a positive answer. You say yes, yep, yeah, oui. No. Next, I'm guessing I know it. Yep, the next word is no. No is a negative response to something when you have to give a negative answer. So as you can probably guess, the long form of no is negative. I like to use nope. It's very, very casual. Not gonna happen. My parents would use that with me. To soften that a little bit, if you want to show a negative response to something, like let's go out for dinner tonight. What do you want to do? Like, do you want to go out? Not really. No, I don't think so. To soften it. The next word is okay. Okay. This word comes from copy editors. Okay. When they had to check a manuscript, they had to label the manuscript all clear, AC. But because they were copy editors and they have a very, very sick sense of humor, they thought they would mark it okay for all clear to make a joke because O and K do not start all and clear. But it caught on among everybody in the world. Anyway, okay is used to agree with somebody else. Well, it can be used actually to express a positive or kind of a slight negative, I feel. Transitioning in your conversation, you can say, okay, now we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. Okay. The next phrase is excuse me. Excuse me, it's used to get someone's attention in English when you don't know the other person. For example, in a store, a supermarket, maybe a stranger on the street, you need to ask directions. You can use excuse me. You can use excuse me in the supermarket. Excuse me, can you tell me where the hot sauce is? If you've done something rude in public, you can use excuse me. I personally do not do rude things in public ever. I'm sorry is the next word we're going to talk about. I'm sorry is used to apologize. When you have made a mistake or someone you know has made a mistake and you're connected to it, or you just feel bad, you can use I'm sorry. You made a mistake at work. I'm sorry. You forgot to feed your cat. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. You bump someone next to you. Oh, sorry. What time is it is the next phrase when you need to check what time it is. What time is it? When you ask someone else what time it is, maybe you say this to yourself too. Check your watch, check your phone, check a clock. Pretty straightforward phrase. There aren't really any short versions, so that's an easy one. Where is the plus a location. So you can use this for a building or a store. We're not going to use this where is the for a place, a city name or a state name or a country name. To do that, you would need to remove the. But where is the bank? Where is the post office? You can use this to ask directions, to ask for help in your house or at work. Where is the copy machine? Where is the file I need? Where is the blah, blah, blah? Where is the bathroom is perhaps a very important question to know. The next one is, may I use the restroom? May I use the restroom is a polite and soft expression that you can use if you need to use the toilet, you need to use the washroom. When you're at someone's house for the very first time, when you're in a place that is new to you, you can ask, may I use the restroom? More casually, can I go to the bathroom? To be very polite, you can say, may I go to the bathroom? The next phrase is, I would like to order something. You can use this at a restaurant probably, or in any situation where you need to place an order. I'd like a pizza. I'd like a beer. Can I get the check, please? This will be used at a restaurant. When you've finished your meal and it's time to go, can I get the check, please? In a very, very casual situation, you can just say, check, please. That's fine. The next phrase is see you soon. See you soon is used with friends and family members, perhaps, when you expect to see them again soon after saying goodbye to them. This is used at the end of the conversation. You're going separate directions. You say, see you soon. See ya is also good, or just see you. To make it a little more formal, you can say, I'll see you again soon. Make a full sentence out of it that way. The next phrase is see you later. See you later is very similar to see you soon, but the point is with see you later is that you're probably going to meet that person again later on in the same day. The last phrase is really. Really is a very useful word because you can use it to show you are interested in a conversation with upward intonation. Really, really, tell me more. Or to show that you're not so interested in the conversation with downward intonation. Really. So there are many other words that you can use similar to really in this way, like seriously or oh, oh, and so on. So it's a really good practice for your intonation. So those are 25 very common words and phrases in English. If you liked this video, if you like this topic, please subscribe. I'm sure there'll be a button here somewhere or a button here, wherever. But please be sure to subscribe to our channel because we're going to be doing more videos like this, and we already have more videos like this, so please be sure to check them out. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye. Really? Oh, interesting. Okay, I see. Great, fantastic, unbelievable. Gratitude, subjects. What do we have for dinner tonight? Pizza? Affirmative. I'll riff on that. I am Chris Hardwick.
Hi everyone, I'm Bridget and welcome to today's lesson. Today's topic is 10 ways to say hello in English. Good morning. Good morning is the first thing you say to someone when you see them in the morning. Good morning, sir. Would you like a cup of coffee? Good morning. Could I please get some orange juice? Good morning. I'm still tired from the night before. Hello. Hello is the most common greeting you'll hear. That and hi. Hello is a polite, nice way to greet someone when you see them. Hello. Everyone says it. You cannot go wrong saying hello. Hello can be used at any time of the day, no matter whether it's morning or at night or at 4 a.m. When you see someone, you can say hello and it will still be appropriate. Long time no see. Long time no see. It's not necessarily grammatically correct, but it's a saying that we have. Hey, long time no see. What it means is that you haven't seen that person in a long time. So it literally means long time no see. Long time no see is something you say to someone when you haven't seen them in a while. Hey, John. Long time no see. How are the wife and kids? How have you been? Hey, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. How have you been is asking someone how they're doing and how they've been for the past however long if you haven't seen them in a while. You might say, hey, long time no see. How have you been? How have you been? That's past tense. It implies that you haven't seen them in a while and you want to hear about how they are and how they've been for all of that time that you haven't seen them. Hey, long time no see. How have you been? How are you? How are you means how are you doing? How are you feeling? How is everything? It's a standard thing that you might say to anyone, even if you've seen them the day before. You might see them today and say, hey, how are you? How's it going? Hey, how's it going? How's it going is a more informal way to say, how are you? So, how are you and how's it going? They mean the same thing. It's asking how you are doing, how you are feeling. Is everything okay with you? What's up? What's up is another way of saying, hey, how's it going? But this one is even more informal. So you might say this to friends. Hey, what's up? And they'll say, nothing. Just living my life, day in and day out. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you? Would you like some lunch? Good afternoon is a polite way to greet someone in the afternoon. So if you run into your boss, you might say, good afternoon. It's very nice. It's polite. Not a lot of people say it to their friends, but it's a polite way to greet someone. Good evening. Good evening is a nice way to greet someone in the evening time. You can only use this phrase in the evening because it's wishing someone a good evening. It's saying hello at a certain time of day. Good evening. Would you like some dinner? Good evening. Have you eaten yet? All of my examples involve food, it seems. It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. This is something that's very common to say the first time that you meet someone. You might shake their hand and say, hi, it's nice to meet you. My name is Bridget. My name is... It's telling that person that you are happy to be meeting them. It's a pleasure to meet them. Hi, it's nice to meet you. That brings us to the end of this lesson, 10 ways to say hello. If you guys liked the video, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And don't forget to go to EnglishClass101.com for more English.
Okay, everybody. Shift information has been posted for the month. It looks like we'll visit 25 cities in 30 days.
Do we normally visit 25 different cities in 1 month?
Yes, sometimes we visit even more.
Where's our first stop?
Charlotte.
Hey, I have friends in Charlotte. It would be nice to see them. Good evening, in-room dining. This is Alex. How may I be of service?
Hello, I would like to order some food.
Of course, ma'am. Just to confirm, this is Mrs. Rawson in room 417?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. May I take your order?
Yes, I would like a turkey sandwich on a Parmesan bagel,
And what to drink?
a Diet Coke.
Will there be anything else?
Yes, I would also like a wake-up call for 7.
My major is education. How about you?
I'm an English major.
Cool. I like English. Oh, and what's Oksana's major?
She's also an English major.
That's nice. You can help each other study.
Yep. In fact, I need to meet her now so we can study together.
Okay. It was nice talking with you.
You too. See you later.
See ya.
Good evening, ma'am. May I have your first and last names?
Melissa West.
Thank you, ma'am. I have found your reservation. Here's the registration information. Does everything look correct to you?
Yes, it seems to be correct.
Excellent. Now, I will just need a photo ID for legal purposes.
Will my passport do?
That would be just fine, ma'am. Checkout is between noon and 2 o'clock. You may request an extension of up to 5 hours free of charge.
What if I need more time?
Then a late charge of 5% will be added to your bill.
Hey Vicky, did you forget our study date at 10 this morning?
I'm sorry, Naomi. At 10, I was talking with my professor and couldn't get away. I'm sorry. I should have called.
That's okay. So, how did the meeting go with the professor?
It went fine. He gave me an extension on my paper and I can still take the midterm. How was your study group yesterday?
Well, we were studying together during lunch when I noticed an old friend of mine from high school in the same cafe. My concentration quickly switched from class to catching up with my friend, so I didn't get much done. You've taken that class before, right?
Yeah, last semester. I was always asking questions in that class because it was so difficult.
Well, I was hoping that you could lend me a hand with my paper. I can't think of anything else to write.
Sure, no problem. That is, if you can help me study for our history test.
Sounds like a deal.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Top Words. My name is Alicia and today we're going to be talking about 10 different phrases that you can use to respond to the question, how are you? So let's go. I'm great. The first phrase is, I'm great. If someone says, how are you? You can say, I'm great. Try to say, I'm great with a kind of an upbeat voice. So something like, how are you? I'm great. I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling bad. If you say, I'm feeling bad, the other person is probably, if they're a friend of yours or a coworker, going to ask you, why? What happened? So if you want to use, I'm feeling bad, make sure you have an explanation ready. Anyway, somebody says, how are you? And you go, I'm feeling bad. Maybe I went out for drinks last night with my coworkers. Oops. I'm okay. I'm okay. I feel like this is one of those intonation practice ones. I'm okay with that, I'm okay. It's like sort of upward intonation. You're like, cool. But if someone says, how are you? And you're like, I'm okay. They're like, oh no, what happened? So you can use your intonation with I'm okay to make it a good thing or a not so good thing. But either way, it's not like a very super serious response. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I imagine this would be in a more formal situation. Like if my friend said to me, how are you? And I was like, thank you for asking. They'd be like, what? I would say, I'm fine, or I'm doing well, I'm doing great. plus thank you for asking. So I have to say, how are you? Oh, I'm doing very well, thank you. Oh, that's how I would use it. And you? The next one is and you. Like the least natural response to how are you is I'm fine, thank you, and you. Like just just take it out of your head. Nobody says that. I always say how about you. That's a much more natural thing. How are you? How are you? How are you can be a response, again, after you have given your answer to the question. How are you? I'm great. How are you? How are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm great. How are you? I'm okay. How are you? How have you been recently? How have you been recently? This is only useful if you haven't seen the other person for a while. I'm not bad. I'm not bad. I'm not bad. How are you? I'm not bad. No, I'm not bad. Things could be worse. I would probably do this. I'm sleepy. The next expression is I'm sleepy. It's like so specific. If someone said, how are you? I would probably say, I'm okay, but I'm a little sleepy. I don't know that I would just say I'm sleepy, unless it's a really good friend of mine. It's a person close to you. You can say, I'm so tired. I would say I'm super tired or I'm really tired. And I feel like that's a little bit more natural than just I'm sleepy. I'm good. One that I use a lot, if someone says, how are you? I say, I'm good. That's just probably my go-to response. Yeah, I'm good, I'm good. Maybe I'll repeat it while smiling. I'm good, I'm good. Yeah, thanks for asking. Great. How are you? That is the end. Those are 10 phrases that you can use to respond to the question, how are you? If there's one takeaway from this and from other things that we've done over the last few years on this channel, just get rid of that I'm fine, thank you, and you, and pick one of these that we've talked about today. Of course, if there's another expression that you use for a response to how are you, I'd be very interested to learn about that. But in general, you're pretty safe if you stick with these, I think. So thanks very much for watching this episode of Top Words, and we will see you again soon. Bye. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Top Words. My name is Alicia, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 must-know vocabulary for restaurants. So let's eat. Waiter. The first word is waiter. Waiter or waitress or waitstaff. These are the people who bring you your food and take your orders. In a sentence, your waiter will be with you in a moment. Menu. The next word is menu. Menu is the piece of paper or the document, the thing that's on your table or near your table that has a description of all the food you can eat at that restaurant. In a sentence, can I have the menu, please? Order. The next word is order. Order, you can use this as a noun or as a verb. You can say to order something or where is my order? In a sentence, I would like to order 2 steaks, 3 hamburgers, 4 beers, a large pizza, and a piece of chocolate cake to go to my home. Water. The next word is water. In American restaurants, you usually get water for free. I noticed when I traveled in Europe, you had to pay for water at restaurants. That was interesting. In a sentence, American restaurants usually give you a glass of water without having to ask. Dessert. The next word is dessert. Dessert is the sweet stuff, the sweet course, all the sweet foods that come after the main part of the meal. In a sentence, can we see the dessert menu? Chef. Chef. Chef is the leader of the kitchen, the person that is cooking the food. In fancy restaurants, the chef is like the one who is running the operation, the manager of everything. There are different levels of chef in the kitchen. In a sentence, you can say, please give my compliments to the chef. Fast food. The next word is fast food. Fast food is anything that's quick. Popular examples in America are McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Jack in the Box. So those are all fast food restaurants. You get in and you get out very, very quickly. They don't have a reputation for being very healthy. In a sentence, I try to eat fast food as rarely as possible. Bill. The next word is bill. You might also hear check. Bill and check mean the total of your meal. How much your dining experience cost you is the bill or the check. A bill comes before you have paid. A receipt is the piece of paper you get after you have paid. The receipt confirms you have paid money. The bill is the request for money. That's the difference between bill or check and receipt. In a sentence, usually you say, can I have the bill, please? Or can I have the check, please? Delicious. Delicious. Delicious means something that tastes good. We have many variations on delicious. We say delicious, good, yum, yummy, fantastic, great, and so on. It's kind of strange to me to say this is delicious. I usually just say this is good or this is really good. Something like that is a bit more natural than delicious. In a sentence, my dinner today was delicious. Main course. Main course. It's often like a meat dish, actually, like roast something or I don't know. It's also called the entree. Maybe it's a really fancy pasta dish in some cases. I don't know. In a sentence, for the main course, our specials are chicken and zucchini and curry. That's the end. So those are 10 words that you can use in a restaurant. I think they're very useful when traveling, actually. So try to keep them in mind the next time you go out to eat. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. And if you like, also, please check us out at EnglishClass101.com for more fun stuff. Thanks very much. Bye.
Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Welcome back to Top Words. Today we're going to talk about 10 ways to stop translating in your head. Let's get started. Identify objects around you in English. The first way to stop translating in your head is to identify the objects around you in your target language. So if you're studying English, that means you look at the objects around the room. Look at the things in your life. Don't think of them in your native language first. Think of them in your target language first. So if I look around the room, I see a computer, I shouldn't think my native language word. I should think my target language word. So start with the items and the situations in your everyday life. If I say computer in English, maybe I should say computer in Japanese. I should say not, water in English. I should say omizu in Japanese. So start associating the words in your target language with your everyday life now. So if you're studying English, that means start getting familiar with the things in your everyday life in English. Repeat phrases you hear native speakers use. Tip number 2 is to repeat the phrases that you hear native speakers use. So if you're watching this channel, for example, or you're watching a TV show or a movie, listen for the way that native speakers make those phrases. If you hear a phrase you have never heard before, or you hear an interesting combination of words, try to repeat them yourself. Don't just listen. Try to say them yourself. If you're in a public space and it's difficult for you to do that, fine. Practice in a place where you feel more comfortable. Maybe if you have some private space to practice. Just repeat them. Get your mouth used to saying the words the way that the native speakers do. So if you never actually say words, if you're only taking in, if you're only listening and you're not actually producing the language, it's kind of hard to practice and to really hone your pronunciation, to improve your pronunciation. So when you listen to native speakers, try to repeat after them. So for example, if you're studying English, you can try to repeat after this video. You can repeat after the things I'm saying, because maybe I'm using an expression or I'm using a certain series of vocabulary words together the way a native speaker would. And it's maybe a good idea to try to practice the ways that native speakers put their words together. So try to repeat after native speakers, especially when you're looking at media. And you can do this when you're reading books too. You can try to read out loud interesting lines of books that you find or something that maybe is difficult for you. Very nice practice tip. Make a situation where you can't escape into your native language. Make a situation where you can't escape into your native language essentially means immerse yourself. Of course, going to that country or going to a place where you can speak only that language is very difficult for some of you. Totally understand. But if in your life you can create a situation in your library, in your room, in your house, somewhere, for just an hour or, I don't know, maybe a day. I don't know what your schedule is like. But if you can create a situation or create an environment where you have no choice but to use that language and you cannot escape, meaning you cannot go back to using your native language as a crutch. You can't use the native language at all. It forces you to use the language that you're studying. So, of course, if you are lucky enough to live in the country or to live in a place where people speak the language you're studying, great. But you have to go out and interact with people. You have to put yourself in a place where you have no choice but to speak. It's very hard and it's very scary and it's very embarrassing at first. But if you take time to find places and to make environments that are comfortable for you, where you feel comfortable making mistakes and asking questions, it's very valuable for your learning process. This is actually something that I did. I totally did this. My Japanese wasn't very good for a long time, but then I started making friends who could not speak English. Actually, I just did this through finding hobbies. There was a hobby that I had. I joined a group. I joined actually a school where I could learn how to do that hobby. And everything was taught only in Japanese. And the people in my class only spoke Japanese, mostly. And then maybe we would go out for drinks and food late at night or on the weekends, and everybody spoke only Japanese. And if I couldn't communicate even simply in Japanese, I had no hope of keeping that friendship together. So it forced me to study. It forced me to think about the words they were using and to try to learn those words, those patterns, as well as how to produce them naturally myself. So I was learning the vocabulary words the people around me were using and learning how to apply them on my own. That was only possible because I had no escape in those situations. So try to do that, even if you can do it yourself in your house. It's super helpful, I think. Watch TV and movies in your target language without subtitles. Tip number 4 is to watch TV and movies in your target language without subtitles. So I think that watching with subtitles can be very beneficial. So if I'm watching something, or if you want to watch something with subtitles on, great. But I sometimes find that in my case, I think too much about reading the subtitles and I forget to listen. So maybe if you've seen a movie in your target language a few times with the subtitles on, try turning the subtitles off and think about the character's body language, the words they're using. You can always look that up later. Look up the words you don't know in a dictionary, but try to do it where you're focusing completely on the way that people are using their words. Try not to use the subtitles. So kind of play around with it a little bit. If there's a word that's difficult for you to hear, you can actually turn on the subtitles in the native language of the movie as well. That's something that I've done. If I wanted to study Japanese, it's very useful when the actual words spoken in Japanese appear on the screen. Sometimes it's easier for me to catch a word if I see it visually and I hear it at the same time. So another way to kind of explore how you can use TV and movies is to actually turn on the closed captions, like the words on the screen in the native language of the movie. So this is sort of 2 points in one. So 1, watch movies without subtitles, meaning subtitles in your native language. And hint 2 is to watch movies with closed captioning on, but the closed captioning is in your target language, not in your native language. So you can try those 2 things with TV and with movies. Don't bring a dictionary to your lesson. Tip number 5 is don't bring a dictionary to your lesson. Okay, so give me a second here. So I understand that dictionaries, especially electronic dictionaries, we have them on our phones now, are very, very convenient. Of course, it's important to use them and they're a great resource to have. However, one thing that really bothers me and that I think is detrimental, it's not helpful for students, is when students are in a lesson and they're practicing conversation and they reach a point in the conversation where they don't know the word they want to use. They know it in their native language and they don't know how to say it in their target language. They pull out their dictionary. They say to the person listening to them, their practice partner in their lesson where they have a limited period of time, just a moment. And then they look it up on their phone and it takes a few seconds, the flow of the conversation stops, and then they say a word. And it's like, whoa, no, that's not, you don't have that ability. You don't have the ability to do that in a conversation with a native speaker. Most people, like if you go to a bank and try to open a bank account, are you really going to pull out your dictionary and sit there and try to communicate, just a moment, as you look up each word you don't know? No. Or if you do, that's not a real conversation. So instead, try using a different strategy. By that, I mean, if you find a word you don't know in conversation, explain the word to your conversation partner. Maybe they know the word. If you're speaking with a native speaker, this is a chance for them to teach you a word. I find that when people take the time to teach me a word, I remember the word much better than just looking it up on my dictionary. So try to resist. Maybe you can bring a dictionary to your lesson, but don't use it or try not to use it in your conversation practice. It destroys the flow of a conversation. So instead, practice the skill of describing the vocabulary word you want to use and learn how to ask the meaning of a word or learn how to ask for a vocabulary word from your partner. So you can use an expression like, what's the word that means blah, blah, blah. Or, it's this thing that does this and this and this. So this is an opportunity for you to describe characteristics of something or find a different way. You can use your body language. You can use whatever. You have a lot of tools, but try not to use a dictionary in a conversation because it's not realistic. Train responses to common questions. Number 6 is a quick one, I think. Hint number six I have is just to train responses to common questions. Train responses to common questions. So, for example, a very common question in English is, hey, how are you? You should know how to answer this question. Just have a default response. Hey, how are you? I'm good. If it takes you a long time to answer the question, hey, how are you? You need to practice. I think that's a pretty good indicator. So, for example, sometimes I ask students a question like that they haven't quite gotten the idea of how to respond just yet. They're not so quick at responding. I say, hey, how are you? And they say, yes. And then they think and they go, I'm good. And it's like, that's a very common question. So think about just a default response that you can spit out, that you can quickly say. If it's, how was your weekend? Or, hey, what's up? Or, what do you want to do for dinner tonight? Think about just a handful, meaning just a few responses to those questions and train them quickly. Just, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm okay. How are you? Not bad. There's 3. So it's just training responses to those questions. There's no reason to be surprised by a question like, how are you? That's a very common question. So for those common questions, train responses to that. We've got a bunch of videos, especially beginner level videos for some example responses you can do. So don't get stuck with these little questions. Just train a few responses. Practice a few responses till they feel natural to you. It'll save you time and it'll help the person asking the question too to move forward in the conversation. Yay! Study with materials that don't provide a translation. The next tip is to study with materials that don't provide a translation. So by this I mean, if you're using worksheets or some kind of textbook or whatever, and it has your target language, the language you're studying, and it has your native language next to it. While this can be useful, I feel that if you can, studying your materials only in your target language and then simplified explanations for more detailed points, also in your target language, can be a little bit better. So I don't want to say you should only study things in your target language and nothing from your native language, because of course it can be helpful sometimes to look up a word or to understand a grammar point in your native language. But where possible, if you can find something that provides simplified explanations in your target language, it can be really, really helpful because, again, you're learning to think on a simpler, on a more basic level about the language you're studying in the language that you're studying. So this can be really, really good. So finding some materials to use where there's no translation. Maybe you can practice, of course, with books and with written materials, but also with like video materials as well. So there are a variety of different ways that you can find materials in your target language, like in video and TV. So some things to think about there are the level of vocabulary words people are using in the media content you're watching, who the media content is intended for, children, young adults, the speed at which the speaker is talking. So like I have the ability to change the level of difficulty of videos based on the rate of speech, the vocabulary words that I use, and how many like idioms and things I use. So I could make a video very difficult. We could make a very difficult video series by leveling up our vocabulary use or by speaking very quickly. Or, as you might see in like our English in 3-minute series, we can also use very simple vocabulary and speak at a low rate of speech. So maybe right now this is a very intermediate level video. So please think about that. So not just for written materials, but also for your audio and visual materials. Think about who your audience is, the level of the material, and so on. It can be really fun. And it can be helpful to think about your target language in your target language. All right, we're almost done. Study phrases in addition to single vocabulary. The next tip is study phrases in addition to single vocabulary words. So yes, of course, vocabulary is important, but I find it personally very, very useful to look at how a vocabulary word is used in a phrase, because sometimes using it in a phrase helps you understand the nuance of that vocabulary word really, really well. So if like a word like crazy, for example, in English, depending on the situation where the word crazy is used, it could mean something different. It could mean like a person who is mentally confused or mixed up. It could also mean something really good. It could mean something really bad. So if we look only at the word crazy, it's quite difficult to understand really the meaning of the word. But if you look at the way the word is used in a phrase, you can get a lot more information. So take a look at the way people use words in phrases, not just as single vocabulary words. You can learn a lot more that way, I think. Do your daily activities in English where possible. The next tip is to do your daily activities in your target language. So if you're studying English, that means try to do some daily activities in English if possible. So this can be very, very boring stuff, but just think about it when you're doing the activity. So like right now, I'm filming a video for EnglishClass101.com, or I'm going to work, I'm cooking breakfast, I'm doing the laundry. What do I have to do tomorrow? So try thinking about your everyday life in English if you're studying English. Try thinking about your everyday activities, the people that you meet. What are you doing? So this is a way to help you practice your verbs. So if you don't know, if you're doing something at work and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I explain what's the verb for, a picture? Like I want to blah, 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 a picture. What's the word? You can check a dictionary at that point and go, it's draw. I need to use the verb draw for draw a picture. So you can find these little gaps in your everyday life, these little gaps in your knowledge, if you think about your everyday activities in your target language. If you don't think about it in your target language, you might not realize you have vocabulary gaps or phrase gaps here and there. So this is a really good and kind of funny, actually, way to study. Use a learner's dictionary for new words. The last tip is to use a learner's dictionary for new words. So in English, there are learner's dictionaries available in English. So my personal favorite is Merriam-Webster. Merriam-Webster is a fantastic dictionary resource. They're so interesting and they have tons of historical information. I really do just sit and read things on the dictionary page lately. It's true. But of course, there's a definition, there's a meaning for words, there are example sentences for words, but Merriam-Webster also has what's called a learner's dictionary. If you find a word that you don't recognize, you can check it in a dictionary, in a learner's dictionary, and it gives you a simple explanation in simple English of that word. So instead of checking it in your native language, you can check it in your target language. So again, this helps you to understand the word that you're focused on, but you understand it from the language you're studying, not from your native language. So using a learner's dictionary can be really, really useful as well. All right, so those are 10 tips. Those are 10 tips to help you stop translating in your head. I know it's very difficult, but it takes time and it takes practice, and I hope that these are a few strategies that can help you as you study any language. Of course, this is an English language channel, an English language learning channel, but I think these tips are pretty good for learning just about any language, really. So I hope those are useful for you. If you have tried these strategies, or if you have any other comments or other tips, please let us know in the comment section below this video. If you liked this video, please make sure to hit the thumbs up, share this video, and subscribe to our channel too. Check us out at EnglishClass101.com for more good stuff as well. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Top Words, and I will see you again soon. Bye! Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.